Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. So, what is the reason for being here? What is, maybe not your purpose, but what is the purpose? It's kind of hard to separate it from your purpose because your actual purpose of being here creates this greater purpose that God wanted for you and all of us. Now, I've been saying it for a long time, and here's the thing. We are actually in the middle of it right now. We are at the pinnacle of this. As they say, we are in the midst of this very thing that I've mentioned on my channel dozens of times, maybe not quite 100, but a lot. You are here to finally re-find or remember emotional freedom. That's why you're here. That's what this is all about. Everything I do is around love, communication, and emotional freedom. Even the healing work I do, it's helping you to release structures from energetic structures that are frozen, that are stuck, to release you from all of these patterns that have been crystallized, to break you free, to break through to love, to break through to health, to break through to happiness, to break through to business success, life success, family success. Because it's all about emotional freedom, which is emotional expression. Emotional freedom is emotional expression, which is creativity, to create, to express yourself in the way that you want to express yourself, in a way to fully express what you're saying so other people can connect with it and understand it, whether it's through drums, a guitar, through business, through math, business, science, through sharing something with your spouse, your lover, etc., your children. See, when you hold back, well, there's a blockage in communication. There's a lack of expression, and that's what causes problems. Have you ever heard that children are just balls of energy? I had a lady say, no, Michael, seriously, I know you've heard it before, but look at that child right there. He's just happy and shining and, expressing himself and smiling and moving his hands and, like an Italian, you just use your hands to talk. And if you guys don't know, I was actually raised in a very, very, very Italian family, so I tend to be very expressive. So as the years went on, I was learning energy healing and I was beginning to connect with and feel and tune and be conscious of it. And this lady's talking to me saying, look at these children, look how they're running around, look how they're painting and coloring. And she goes, Michael, when I say, when people say like these are just balls of energy expressing themselves, they mean it. They're just full of energy. They're full of life. They're full of light. And so are you. If you don't feel like you're energized, it's because there is a restriction. Somebody punished you, somebody shamed you, somebody hurt you, somebody made you feel less than. Okay, so there's kind of two parts to this, but really connect with this overall theme. So here's the first part I want to talk about. So number one, it's all about the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve used to hang out with God as they were, naked, emotionally, open emotionally, probably even physically naked. See, the whole thing in the book of Genesis chapter 2 at the very end, verse 25, it says, so they're in the garden with God doing their painting and artwork and creativity or whatever they're learning and doing. And it said, and they were naked and they were not ashamed. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And then chapter 3, obviously the serpent and demonic Narcissist comes along and says, hey, you're naked. That's bad. That's wrong. Be shamed. And they covered up. Well, what they covered up was their connection to the right brain. They closed the door. So now God comes in the Garden of Eden. See, your right brain is the Holy Grail. You have to open up to it. This is when you open up to your five senses, the greater awareness. This is your emotional, creative, spiritual brain. See, if you're not open to that brain, if you close the door and you hide behind your logic, well, you can't connect to God. And that's what this is all about. This is the number one core pillar of what I specialize in, is teaching people internal awareness techniques that open this door to reconnect to yourself, because that's how you connect to God. A lot of the work I've done over the years is what I call cracked female code. It's really teaching men how to reconnect with themselves, which opens them up to their right brain, which is the self brain. So when a woman comes along and says to a man like, hey, just be yourself, he's logically thinking, I am being my logical self. That's not yourself. That's your computer brain. That's your machine mind. That brain is designed for math, business, and science. That's what it's good for. But that's not who you are. You are your emotions and feelings and your five senses. And that's the internal right brain that connects with your body, your five senses, your feelings, your emotions. This is the human you. Work, taxes, math, business, science, education, everything, computers are causing us to get stuck in the logical left brain. That's the forbidden fruit, the tree of knowledge. The tree of life is the five senses: see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. The right brain is the emotional, creative, spiritual brain. It's where you feel life, where you are human. So I do a series of techniques, I do energy healing, and I teach you how to breathe deeply, how to reconnect inside. I teach you a series of techniques to practice one by one, over and over, and eventually you pop open and you're going to realize, wow, I disconnected for a long time. Reconnect. That's all God wanted. God doesn't want you to kill any more animals. Don't stop sacrificing the bulls. Stop killing Jesus. Just open up to God. And the fact of the matter is, God says, okay, fine, I'll let you kill my only begotten son, because that's how much I love you, if you open back up to me. And people probably did momentarily, but then they shut back down. Because you can look in the world today and clearly see that, yeah, people didn't open up. Some did, but a lot of them, it was kind of like a waste of a sacrifice. And it never needed to happen in the first place. God's saying, hey, just open back up. Come back to the Garden of Eden. Let's create. Let's, learn how to express yourself in a much greater and deeper way. So people that are like Adele and singers and actresses and people that can get up on stage, they've learned how to express themselves. And there's another key part to this, which I'm leading up to. You might be wondering, and even feeling, oh, it's so unfair that, they get to do that they can do that. And it's so unfair that, they're so talented and so this. And it's not even that. It's that you feel ashamed. See, the difference between you and them is either A, they've healed themselves. They've healed their emotions. They've healed that toxic energy of shame and guilt and doubt and confusion that the Bible talks about. Those are the signs that the devil's been working. Whenever you get around someone, you feel confusion, you feel shame, you feel doubt, get away from that person. They're doing something on purpose, I guarantee it. Okay, I'm going to cut right to the chase. The Garden of Eden, chapter 2, they were hanging out with God. They were doing things, creating, playing in the grass, maybe shooting bow and arrows at targets, and maybe even making bow and arrows. It was like a creative art class of learning how to use your emotions and how to sing and how to dance and probably even how to do energy healing and doing amazing things. It was like one beautiful grassy green, beautiful lush area where children, us, were just playing and having fun. There was no punishment. There was no teacher saying, you've got to be in class every day at 8 o'clock in the morning. It was more like, okay, when I was a kid, we in the summertime, it was the late spring and summertime, there was a park straight up the street from our house, about 5 blocks, I think, if I remember right, maybe 6. And you walk through the big grassy area, go through the tennis courts or around them, and behind it, they had all these arts and crafts. They had a little BB gun range set up. Yeah, like little BB guns. It was really cool. They had an instructor there. Then they had the archery over to the left. And inside the building, they had like clay pottery class. They had art class. They had all kinds of things. They were teaching kids how to play tennis, racquetball. They were teaching us ping pong. There were so many things that they were teaching us. It was really fun. And I remember being afraid at first because okay, I don't want to get yelled at. I don't want to get punished. Nobody ever yelled at you. There was no restrictions. There was no rules. There was no, when you shot the BB guns, you couldn't aim them at people. There was a certain way, hey, you got to keep the gun pointed at the targets downrange, never swing the gun around. But there was no sense of oh, you didn't show up on time. You're going to get a detention. And now I'm going to frown upon you. It was about the third or fourth day, maybe the fifth day, when I went over to the archery class, and I was like, no one's yelled at me. And I remember that it was a female, probably in high school or maybe a little older. And she was, hey, come on over. Do you know how to shoot bow and arrows? I'm like, well, a little bit before we moved here. Here, let me show you how. Here, this is your target. And you stand here and here's how you string the bow. They tell you everything. And she was so nice. It was so fun. It was at that point when I realized nobody was here to punish us. They just wanted to see you be happy. They just wanted to show you how to do things, to be happy, to enjoy life, to have fun. You didn't even have to go to any of the classes or any of the courses or, whatever you wanted to call it. If you wanted to come, you were welcome. If you wanted to sleep in, you were welcome to sleep in. There was no right or wrong. Oh, you got to show up at 8 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday, and on Saturdays you got to show up at 7. There was no punishment. There was just happiness. You were allowed to do what you wanted to without any kind of punishment or guilt or shame or blame or anything at all. And it was like you were naturally drawn to the things that you liked. And that's why you became good at them. Usually, let's say you did the BB guns every day, and then after that you went and did bow and arrows for an hour, whatever. Well, after a while, maybe your friend would say, hey man, did you know inside the building that they have art class, or they're teaching people how to, do this thing with pennies or, with whatever? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. Hey, let's go over there and try it out. I was like, oh, okay. But you didn't have to. There was no pressure. There was no manipulation. Sometimes one of the instructors like, hey, did you know that they're teaching this over there? I'm like, no, like the bow and arrows. I didn't know that I was allowed to do that. And like, yeah, you can go over there and do it too, because I was pretty young, and usually the people that were doing that were like middle school and high school kids. This is what it was like when we used to be with God. This is what it's like living in the Garden of Eden with God. Happiness, freedom, love, learning how to paint, learning how to sing, learning how to shoot BB guns, learning how to just express yourself, how to just experience life. The 5 senses. Do you remember when you were a little kid, the first time you saw a butterfly? Do you remember the colors? They were dynamic. They stood out. It was like they were shiny and colorful and rich. Do you remember what it was like when the first time you smelled fresh cut grass? How green the grass was, how you had this smell that was strong, but it was fresh. I remember we were in, I think it was kindergarten, probably preschool, I think it was. And they took us for a walk, and we're walking kind of up this side, walking off the right, where there's little puffy, they're little plants. I think it's dandelions, but then they kind of eventually splay out, and they're just these little puff balls, and you can blow on them, and they fly all over the place, the wind kind of blows them. That amazed the hell out of me when I was a little kid. Remember when the littlest bug, you would just look at it and you would stare at it in absolute fascination? That's what it's like living in the Garden of Eden with God. I remember the teacher pointed it out because I didn't notice when I was walking by. Like, hey, Michael, look at this down here. Do you ever see him? Like, no, like, what's that? It was really, to me, an amazing experience. Everything was. That's what it's like to live in the Garden of Eden. That's what it's like when you reopen up to your right brain fully and completely. Life becomes this amazingly fascinating world. Everything suddenly starts to pop. The colors start to pop. Instead of like green. Okay, I work with male clients, and men are very left brain, right? So they're disconnected from their 5 senses. When I finally get them to pop open to the right brain, I can see it in their eyes because their pupils will dilate. They breathe deeper. Their face kind of relaxes. Because when you're left brain, you're very tight and very serious, and your muscles are tighter. Well, everything loosens up and relaxes. It becomes really obvious. And I'll just kind of laugh. And they'll look around my room. Then they're going to look outside the sliding glass windows. Whoa, I never noticed how green those leaves are. They practically grow like neon electric green. And I'm like, that's the way it was the last couple of days you've been here. No, there's something different. I'm like, no, they've always been that way. This is why God said don't eat of the forbidden fruit, which is the logical left brain. It doesn't mean you can't use your logic. It means don't live there. Don't get stuck there. Don't close the door to your right brain. Stay open. You think you're going to be in heaven when you die. And I'm trying to tell you, God's saying you can live right now. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Literally. Jesus Christ said that. And I teach this to people on how to open back up. It causes you to be emotionally grounded, down to earth, and you begin to experience life again in a much richer and actually fuller way. So what is this all about? It's about stop hiding from God. It's about going back before. So what is emotional freedom? What do I mean by that? Imagine not feeling any guilt. No more guilt inside, no more shame, no more confusion, no more doubt. Imagine feeling good about yourself. For a moment or longer, just imagine what would it be like if you had these warm, soft, clean, healthy, cleansed energy inside your entire body. Like you just felt good inside, like all the worry was taken away, all the guilt, all the shame, all the doubt, all the fear, all the anxiety, anything just taken out of you and gone, burned up in hell. Just gone, disintegrated. Imagine how that would feel inside now. And all the love and warmth and comfort of God just comes down inside you and fills you all the way up inside, from your toes all the way to your feet, your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs, filling you up, all your belly, your gut, your heart, your chest, your brain, your arms, your hands, your forearms, and you just have this wonderful, peaceful, smooth, relaxing feeling inside. It's just like a pure, smooth white light filling you up inside. I prayed for this from God, and it happened. And I remember one day I'm out in public and parking my car, walking into Target, and like, wow, dude, I was like, what is this? I just felt so good. Stop thinking you have to die to feel this way. Stop thinking, I'm just going to say it. Stop thinking that one day when you pass away, then you're going to be in the Garden of Eden with God again. You're going to be in heaven. I am telling you, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, right here, right now. You can learn how to open up, and you can learn how to allow this internal awareness to bring your energy back inside. So here's part 2. So this whole thing is about releasing the light within. The shift that's happening is the empaths, the light workers, the open-hearted people, the spiritual people, we've been punished and blamed and projected onto. And what's happening is, instead of looking at what's been projected onto us like the scapegoat or the black sheep, we're looking at the people. It's like you're turning your light back on. Your light is shining from within. This is what I'm talking about. We're in the midst of this shift. People are beginning to shine and look around, and the light is shining light upon other people. So your whole life, you've worked hard to be a good person, to heal yourself, to go to therapy, and now your light's beginning to shine, and all of a sudden, wherever you go, it shines upon anyone that's in the room. It like turns. My pastor said, he goes, Mike, you're like a light. The minute you walk in a room, it's like turning on the light, except you don't need to flip a switch. You are the light. And people who don't like themselves, people who are doing drugs and deep down inside they know it's wrong, well, this is why they hide in dark places and hide with people that are just like them, is they don't want the light to be turned on because they don't want to be honest with themselves about who they are. Instead, they'd rather turn your light off and then project all their guilt and shame and all their stuff onto you and say, no, it's not me, it's him, it's them. This is the shift that's happening within. Your light is beginning to shine. And now you are starting to see the truth, and you have more awareness. And that is essentially what the light is. The more awareness you have, the more aware of you are of people around you, and other people go into that awareness momentarily while you're there, And they start to look at the person who's pointing the finger or blaming and shaming and laughing at people and trying to humiliate people. And they're looking at that person going, wow, like they see it now, especially when you're in the room. And when you leave, even afterwards, they go home thinking, because the memory, the image is still there. And they're going, man, it was never this person. It's that person over there. People are starting to see. Not only are they starting to see the narcissist, but they're starting to see their own stuff inside them as well. Your light is a good thing. Your light beginning to shine within is now beginning to shine without. It's becoming more and more powerful, and the light's becoming brighter and brighter, and you are beginning to see more and more. And when other people are around you, they begin to see more than ever before, at least for that moment. So enjoy this time, even though times can be tough. Enjoy it as best as you can. Remember, if you need help, I can help you heal and I can help you shift. That's it, guys. I hope this video helped you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment. And as always, you can go ahead and you can support this channel in a couple ways. Number one, by clicking on the PayPal link below and making a donation. Number two, hiring me for life coaching, energy healing, emotional healing, etc. Narcissist abuse healing. And also, you can buy one of my dating and relationship coaching books for men and women. I think you will be really, really surprised. Alright, that's it. Go to MikeKollin.com and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.